it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first card in my 2017 holiday card series. Today I'm going to be using this Lawn Fawn Very Happy Holiday stamp set and also the Perfectly Plaid Winter 6x6 pad. I've stamped out the images I'll be using with some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and that's because I'm going to be coloring with Copic markers. I'm starting with the two polar bears, and I'm using W00, W1, and W3 for both of them. Since these images are relatively small and easy to color, I'm just going to color darkest to lightest, so I'm starting with that W3 and just adding a bit of shadow. Then I'm going to blend that out with the W1, just trying to make the line very soft and blended. I don't want there to be any harsh dark lines, so I'll just make sure that I grab that color and pull it out towards the center of their bodies. Then I will take the W00 and continue blending that out, just creating a really nice transition between the gray and the white of the paper that I'm going to leave in the middle on their faces and bellies. Because I do want them to look like white, fluffy polar bears, but I just want them to have some dimension. I'm going to add a W5 into the mix to color in the bucket that's holding our fish, and I'm going to use that right along both edges, and that darkness is going to help it look more rounded in appearance. I also used the W5 and W3 to color in the fishing rod, but I end up changing that later on. I decided I needed a pop of color there. So I used the W3 to blend out on the bucket and then the W1 in the center. And I also used the W5 and the W1 to color in the mechanics of that reel. I used the R20 to give the polar bears some rosy cheeks and also color in the insides of their ears. And then I just went over that again with the W00 to kind of soften it up so it's not quite so bright. I colored all the fish exactly the same, and I used YR04, YR07, and YR09. There's going to be a lot of white on my card, so I wanted to add some pops of color here and there when I could. So I used that YR09 towards the tail end and then blended forward with the YR07. And that's going to leave the face with the eye for the lightest color, the YR04, so that it doesn't get lost in the dark color. For the little bow, I'm going to use my favorite red combo, R29, R39, and R59, starting with the R59 for the underside of the ribbon and the bow, blending up with the R39, and then just finishing off with the R29. I used E25 and E27 for the handle of the fishing rod. And then I decided I needed a little bit more color, so I used G24 and G28 for the rest of the rod, colored right over that W5 and W3 that we used before. For the water inside the hole there, I'm going to use B02, B04, and B06. Just starting with that B06 towards the bottom because I want that to be the darkest color, kind of away from the surface. And then blending upward with the B04, and then I'll finish up with the B02. And I'll also give a couple little flicks to the outer edge of that ice there just to kind of add a little bit of frosty color. And then I'll just die cut these out with the matching dies. For my background, I've die cut a piece of white cardstock with the largest of the small stitched rectangle stackables, and then I'm taking 3 colors of Distress Ink, Tumbled Glass, Salty Ocean, and Chip Sapphire, and I've also got the new MFT Drifts and Hills stencil. So I'm going to start with that tumbled glass and just create some snowdrifts on my scene here, just by starting on the stencil and blending upward to kind of give it a little bit of a frosty look. I'm just going to keep turning the stencil and adding more snowdrifts until I get a look that I like. This is going to create a lot of depth of scene because it's going to make it look like there's more beyond what your eye can see. Then I'll take my Salty Ocean and, still holding that stencil in place, I'm going to start coming in from the top edge to create my sky. I want to hold that stencil in place so that it doesn't accidentally overlap any of the white area that we already have masked off with the stencil. So I'll just start blending that in from the top edge, making sure to concentrate the color on the corners. That's just the look that I'm trying to achieve. I want there to be kind of a soft glow on the horizon line. And then I'm going to grab the chipped sapphire and bring that in as well, just kind of darkening that up and also creating a lot of depth that way. With distress inks, the more you add, the more they blend, so I'm just going to keep overlapping that color until I'm really happy with how it looks. And then when I pull that stencil away, you can see that we have that soft glow on the horizon line. To add a bit of shimmer to our scene, I've got some perfect pearls mixed in with some water inside a little mini mister, and I'm going to give that a couple of good spritzes from far away, and then I'll move a little bit closer and add a couple more just to get a little bit more concentrated shine. And you can see how pretty that is when I lift it up to the light. I set that aside to dry for a minute or two, and now I'm ready to stamp my sentiment. So I'm taking some Lawn Fawn lobster ink, and I'm going to ink up one of the greetings from that Berry Happy Holidays stamp set. It says, "May your days be berry and bright." And that stamped perfectly the first time, so I'll just set that aside. And while I have my Misty out, I'm going to also do the inside of my card. I always like to finish off the inside. So I'm taking some Lawn Fawn Moonstone ink because I'm also using a Moonstone card base. And I'm stamping out the Ice Skating Bear and the Happy Holidays sentiment. And then I'll also add a couple of snowflakes. Going back to our focal panel, I'm going to take the largest of the Lawn Fawn Lift the Flap dies and just center that on my card front. And I'll tape that down with some post-it tape to hold it in place and run that through my Cuttlebug. And that die cuts the 3 outside edges and then embosses the 4th so that it can be folded up to reveal something inside, such as a gift card. And now I can just begin to decorate that flap by adding my images with some liquid glue. And I do like using liquid glue for this part of the card because it's easier to be able to manipulate your images and move them around a bit before that glue is completely set. I didn't know exactly where to place that bear down until I could gauge where the fishing pole needed to go so that it would hang over the center of that ice hole. And I'll just continue adding my images until I have my scene the way that I want it. To assemble our card, I'll take my Moonstone card base that is scored and folded to a standard A2 landscape style card, and I'm going to add my pattern paper right over top of that so that it leaves a nice little border all the way around the edge. And then I'll take my focal panel, and I want to be sure to add that glue on the outside edge, but keep it away from any part of that flap portion because we want to make sure that that lifts easily. And then I'll just center that on the card and press that down into place with an acrylic block until it dries. To add my gift card, I'm going to take 2 little mini glue dots and stick those in opposite corners. And that will make sure that it doesn't fall out, but it's also really easy to pull up off the card. So that'll hold it really nicely in place. As a final embellishment, I'm going to take a white Jelly Roll pen and just add a few little, they could be stars or snow falling down, whatever you'd like, but I'm just going to add those to my scene. For me, it's going to be stars, I guess, because I didn't do any that are kind of overlapping the images. So that's kind of how you can tell the difference. But that's going to complete our card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this first installment in my 2017 holiday card series. There's a look at the entire card once again. If you did like it, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up or leave me a comment down below. I always look forward to everything you guys have to say. Here's an extra couple videos from day 1 of the previous 2 years of Christmas card series. So I hope you guys enjoy those as well, and they'll tide you over until the next installment. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you all have an amazing day. Bye-bye.